po sa ating lahat. Ayan. So, pasensya na po kung tayo ay medyo nawala ulit. Okay, so anyway, can you hear me, teachers? Magandang gabi po sa ating lahat. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all fine and doing great because, of course, we will continue our lecture tonight. So, I'll do my best to finish everything tonight, even the rationalization. So as of the moment, we are increasing in terms of the attendees. So let's just wait for them and probably we can start at 7:25. Ayan, para mantay lang natin yung iba. Hello po, good evening everyone. O, di ba? Okay na tayo ha. Ayun, okay, may tagal-Palawan pa ho dito. Hello po, magandang gabi. Ayan. Mhm. Okay, thank you so much po with the PPT. Ayan, we can hear you po with PPT. Sige, thank you so much for your feedback. I really appreciate it and it helps me. Ayan. So what about the others? How are you? Okay, audible. Okay, yeah. Because I ensured that I will have a good connection now. Unlike last night, because it was really, it was intermittent. The connection was intermittent, but now I ensure that everything is good. Hindi daw po nagno-notify sa inyo ang link. Okay. Opo, pero pinost ko siya, so paki-double check na lang po. 'Di ba you were instructed before that every now and then you have to check our MS Teams. Ayan. Papa-check na lang po ako lagi. Ano ho? Okay. Yes, good evening. Sige po, please, kindly, disseminate the link to your co-reviewees, no, for science na enrolled sa atin, of course. You notify them that, if you have GC, then please tell them to attend already. Pinost ko po siya sa ating, sa ating calendar and also sa convo natin yung ating link tonight. Tama po? Hmm, ayan. Okay. Ayan. Okay, so let's start at 10. I mean, 7:25. Okay, hi, good evening everyone. So, welcome to our Welcome to our review again for this night. Mm. Ayan, so naririnig na po ba ako mga kapatid? It's 7:26 na. Okay, so naririnig na po ba ako? Para makapag-start na po tayo? Mhm. Naririnig na po ba ako mga teachers? I need your responses, please. Ayan, yung iba kinakabahan na daw po, huwag po kayong kakabahan kasi naghanda naman po kayo at patuloy na naghahanda. So, wag po tayong kakabahan mga kapatid, okey? Hmm. Hello, okey. Alright, okay, so loud and clear na. Anyway, Ma'am LB Ross, thank you for your update din 'no, ayan kagabi, salamat. Nabasa ko yung mga messages niyo. Okay, so with that, then I think we can start our discussion. Okay? I'm not pretty sure with the notification kasi as far as I know, if we posted already doon sa conversation natin, sa post natin for general science group, ay I think automatic na po ata yun, 'di ba? Ayan, so yun, paki-inform na lang po, i-active na lang po yung MS Teams natin kasi siyempre 'di ba dapat mag-visit din po kayo sa ating MS Teams, ayan. So with that, without any further ado, so let's start our discussion. So I will just share to you my screen, okay, so that we can start our discussion. Ayan. Okay. So with that, alright. So bago tayo mag-start, mag-pray lang po muna tayo saglit, okay? So Father God, thank you so much for today. Thank you for the blessings that we have received from you. Thank you for the life and also this opportunity to learn again. And thank you because we're able to continue our life, and despite our shortcomings and the challenges in life, we're able to still do things for the glory of your name. And I pray for these people who are with me virtually that they may find peace, joy, strength, and hope. Especially hope, Lord, that they will tap and pass the board examination. That they be reminded na you are with them always in everything they do. You are with us. And again, we would like to offer this lecture to you, Lord, and may you be with us, protect us, guide us in everything we do, and may you bless us with bountiful blessings, Lord. Forgive us our sins and bring us to everlasting life. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Ayan. So, God bless you po. So now, uh, mag-start na po tayo, okay, ng ating lecture. So, with that, I will share to you my screen now. Ayan. Okay. So, guys, uh, this is just a continuation of our discussion last night. Ano po, kasi medyo lang po tayo ng ano 'to, glitches kagabi in terms of connection. Okay, so ngayon, okay na tayo. Right? So there. So, guys, we'll talk about nervous system. So dito tayo nag-end kagabi, ayan. So di pala nakikita ng iba 'no, yung ating, kagabi. So ngayon, eto na siya and I hope okay na pala. Okay? So nervous system, ayan. So isa yan sa mga body systems na meron tayo, and in terms of nervous system, we have its functions. So some of the functions of nervous system are the following. Number one, it receives information about what is happening inside and outside of the body. Yes, that's gonna be through the stimulus and response. Okay? So we receive different stimuli in our environment, and not just only in our environment, but also inside our body. And in terms of the internal stimuli, it helps us to regulate the need of our body. Okay? So that's one of the functions of nervous system. And number two, directs the way your body responds to this information. Yes, through the stimulus or stimuli. And that's the reason why we have our senses. And our senses play a very important role in receiving messages that later on will be interpreted by our body or particularly our brain. And the brain will provide feedback and then our body will respond, okay, to those stimuli that we have from our environment. And also, our nervous system helps maintain homeostasis, correct? Especially inside our body. No, there are signals na, oh, kailangan ko ng umihi or kailangan ko na ng ganito ganyan. Okay, so ang katawan, magre-react yan para ma-achieve yung homeostasis or yung internal balance na sinasabi natin. Kasi dapat ang ating katawan normal lagi ang nasa loob or yung nasa loob natin. Example niyan is yung temperature. Dapat ang temperature natin nasa target set point lang, nasa at least 37 or 36.5. Ayan, hindi dapat bababa or tataas, okay, para po ma-maintain natin yung internal balance or equilibrium na sinasabi. Okay, so that's homeostasis. And that's actually the functions of our nervous system. Next, let's talk about the organs of the nervous system. So may mga organs din po ang nervous system. We have here the brain, the nerves, and also the spinal cord. And our nervous system is actually divided into two parts. We have the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. So since we have here the brain, so ito po yung brain natin, divided into two. We have the left and the right hemisphere, and it is made up of million or even billions of neurons. And the intelligence of a person depends on the surface area of the brain. Okay. Next, we have here the nerves. So that's the image of our nerves. It has, cell body. It has dendrites. It has axons, and those stuff help in, transmitting nerve impulses from one neuron to another. Of course, with the help of neurotransmitters. Ayan. And lastly, our spinal cord, protected by the vertebra or vertebrae. Okay. So just a small damage in our spinal cord will greatly affect our nervous system because our spinal cord is concentrated with the neurons as well. That's why if we met accident, okay, and then impacted ang spinal cord, then it may lead to temporary or total paralysis. Okay, so we need to take good care of our brain, of our nerves, and also of our spinal cord. Okay, so let's talk about the first kind or say category of nervous system. We have the central nervous system, and the central nervous system is made up of the brain and the spinal cord. So let's talk first about the brain. So our brain controls most functions in the body. Okay, and that's very true. Kasi nga naman, talagang ang brain natin ang responsible for the thinking, for the breathing, for responding from the different stimuli. And our brain has parts. We have the cerebrum. So looking at this image, the cerebrum is the largest part of the brain, wherein we can see here different lobes. We have the frontal lobe responsible for the memory, for thinking. Parietal lobe also is seated adjacent to your frontal lobe. And occipital lobe is the lobe responsible for our vision. Temporal lobe is for hearing, for balance, and also for some senses. Okay, so our cerebrum interprets input from the senses, correct? So we have five senses, and our cerebrum controls movement of skeletal muscles, which are voluntary, and cerebrum has complex mental processes like learning because of the frontal lobe. Okay. Another part of the brain is the cerebellum, wherein it coordinates muscle actions and balance. And like what I mentioned last night, that our brain, particularly cerebellum, is the target of the liquor. Okay, if we drink, if we drink alcohol, ito yung naapektuhan na part ng brain natin. So whenever we drink, and wawalan yung balance natin, and also some muscle actions, and yan po yung cerebellum. Nasa ilalim po siya ni cerebrum. Okay? And also the brainstem, which is the medulla also. And brainstem is responsible for the control of involuntary actions. Involuntary means it is not our will. Okay, it is automatic. No? Example is breathing. So our breathing is involuntary. We really need to breathe. We cannot cut it off. We cannot stop breathing, because if we stop breathing, using our will, we cannot really do that. Talagang hinga-hinga pa rin tayo. Okay? We have also spinal cord. Spinal cord link between brain and the rest of the body. Okay, the rest of the body, the rest of the nerves, okay, in the peripheral nervous system. So that's spinal cord and the brain. I will repeat. The two major organs of central nervous system are the brain and the spinal cord. Okay, so there. Next, let's talk about the peripheral nervous system. So the peripheral nervous system, we have here the neurons scattered in our body, but all of these neurons are connected to our spinal cords. So these are nerve cells, neurons that are responsible or specialized to transfer messages in the form of fast-moving electrical energy. And these electrical messages or energy are called impulses. So we can term this as electrical impulses or nerve impulses. So pare-parehas lang pong ibig sabihin nun. Okay? Alright. So na-activate ang ating, nagkakaroon ng nerve impulses kapag merong stimuli at kapag na-go beyond tayo sa minimum threshold for us to feel. Example, yung sa balat natin. Okay? Pag na overcome na yung threshold for us to feel the touch, then there is now the release of impulses from one neuron or from our sensory nerves going to the peripheral nerves, going to the spinal cord, and then later on the brain. Okay? So our neuron has parts also, like what I mentioned to you. We have the dendrites. So these are the dendrites, guys. Itong parang ugat dito. And as you can see, these dendrites are connected to the axon terminals of the adjacent neuron. Okay? So our dendrites receive nerve impulses from the axon terminals of the different neuron. And we also have here the cell body or the soma, okay, where that's the nucleus of this cell. And then in this portion, we can see this tail-like structure. This is the axon. And you can observe here, or you can see here the sheets, and those are myelin sheets for saltatory purposes. Meaning, itong sheets na ito serves as, insulation para yung impulse from the dendrite going here, hindi na nadadaanan yan. Hindi na siya dadaan dyan. Kundi, from here, magja-jump nila lang yan para mabilis po yung pag-transmit ng electrical impulses or nerve impulses. And then, once that nerve impulses reach, okay, the axon terminals of the axon, okay, the axon terminal will release neurotransmitter. Okay? And then that neurotransmitter will be received by the next nerve. So, ganun po yung transmission ng nerve impulses in our body, particularly in our neurons. Okay? So, that's neurons. Peripheral nervous system po yan. So, scattered yan, located yan sa lahat ng part ng ating katawan. Meron tayo yan. Okay? So, there, that's peripheral nervous system. And also, let's discuss the common problems of nervous system. Number one is the Alzheimer's disease. So, I believe it's not new to you. Alzheimer's disease is a type of dementia, meaning, makakalimutin or forgetful ka. And there is now an involvement of neural death. Namamatay kasi yung neuron, lalo na kapag sa neuron na responsible for memory or thinking, naapektuhan ngayon yung ating pag-iisip, nakakalimot tayo. Ano nga yung sakit na yan? It's the Alzheimer's disease. Next is the Bell's palsy. Bell's palsy is the paralysis of facial muscles. Okay, so kaya tayo nagkakaroon ng Bell's palsy dahil may paralysis of facial muscles. Kayo may Bell's palsy dyan is na parang ano yun, na di-deform yung mukha nila. Sometimes that's due to bacteria, why we have Bell's palsy. Next, cerebral palsy is also a common problem of nervous system wherein there is brain injury and it affects our body movement. So sa mga may cerebral palsy, they cannot move well talaga, affected ang body movement nila kasi ang natamaan dyan is yung brain din. Next, epilepsy, it's a type of seizure, okay? So, alam yung nag-epilepsy ka, okay? We also have here motor neuron disease. What's motor neuron? From the word motor, so it's responsible for the movement, okay? Na kung saan, there is now weakness of muscle leading to paralysis. So that's motor neuron disease, weakness of muscle leading to paralysis. Next, multiple sclerosis. So, pag multiple sclerosis, it is a chronic disease and there is a damage to myelin sheaths. Kung naalala yung myelin sheaths kanina, wherein nerves can send signals. So pag hindi nagsisend ng signal, ang nerve, there's no reaction. Parang nagiging numb ka dyan sa multiple sclerosis na yan. And it's a chronic disease, meaning time will come that it will become acute, no? Palala ng palala ang multiple sclerosis. Another is Parkinson's disease na madalas lumalabas sa board exam. Ano bang Parkinson's disease? So there's a damage to nerve cells or nerves that produce dopamine. Okay? So responsible for smooth control of muscle and movement. Kaya kapag may Parkinson's disease tayo, we experience tremor or shaking because there is an abnormality in the release of dopamine. And the dopamine or dopamine is responsible for the smooth control of muscle and movement. Kaya may jerky movement na sinasabi. At ito po yung lumabas sa board, yung term na jerky movement. Ayan, if you have Parkinson's disease. And lastly, we have the sciatica. So sciatica is a damage of a sciatic nerve. So ito yung nerve na located sa may thigh natin papunta sa paa. Okay? And if there is a damage in sciatic nerve or if you have sciatica, you will experience pain in the leg and also at your back. Okay? So there, we have the pain in the leg and back. Yan. So sometimes we can treat sciatica if you will undergo operation or surgery, okay, para matanggal, okay? But you can still ano naman, you can still walk. Okay? It's just that may damage lang kasi, okay? So these are the common problems of the nervous system. But before I will continue my lesson, okay? Kasi hindi ko po kayo nakikita masyado. Ayan. So may I ask the people with your responses, okay? Naiintindihan po ba ako, teachers? Okay? May naiintindihan po ba ako? Guys, paano naman po ako? Pa-message po ako para makapagsimula ay makapagpatuloy ako ulit. Okay? Naririnig na po ba ako, teachers? Ayan. So medyo lag tayo ng 10 seconds to 15 seconds. Okay? Okay, nakikita at naiintindihan naman. Okay, salamat. Sige po. So, with that, magpapatuloy na pa ako ulit sa aking discussion. So, we are done with our nervous system. Now, let's go to circulatory system. Ayan. So, tingnan natin yung circulatory system na yan, di ba? Okay? So, there. Ayan. Ayan. Okay. So, with that, ayan. So, let's proceed to circulatory system. Guys, tapos na tayo sa skeletal system, tapos na po tayo sa nervous system, tapos na rin tayo sa muscular system, integumentary system. Ngayon, punta na tayo sa ating circulatory system. Okay. So, pag sinabi natin circulatory system, naisip natin dyan yung blood, naisip natin dyan yung heart, yung mga formed elements ng blood natin, like the red blood cell, white blood cell, platelets. So, yun po yung pag-uusapan natin sa circulatory system. So, circulatory system has this function. Ano po yung function niya? It carries needed substances to cells and carries waste away from cell. Tama po yan. Okay? It carries needed substances because our blood carries nutrients. Our blood contains oxygen that are needed by our cell for them to work or function. And they also carry waste products that later on that waste products might be filtered, okay, through our kidney, through the nephrons that we have in our kidney, so that we can remove it or excrete those waste products of our body and to maintain homeostasis still. So that is circulatory system. Now guys, let's talk about the organs involved in circulatory system. So we have here the heart. Okay, so the heart, it is located in the mediastinum. Okay, so dito sa sentro ng ating, dito sa may sternum natin, sa likod niya, okay, sa may likod niya. And then heart is a hollow muscular organ that pumps blood throughout the body. Hollow kasi may mga spaces yan sa loob. Okay? And it is a type of muscle, ang ating heart. So we have muscular tissue there, or cardiac tissue rather, wherein it is a type of muscle. Okay? And again, it is a muscular organ that pumps blood throughout the body. So kung walang heart, walang magpa-pump, at pag walang pump, walang mapuproduce na pressure sa blood vessels natin so that the blood can flow throughout our body. Okay? So as you can see in our diagram, we have the red color ng vein, ng artery, at we have also the violet or the blue one, and we call that veins. So please be reminded, guys, that our veins or carry deoxygenated blood, while our arteries, okay, carries what? Our arteries carry oxygenated blood. Okay, so we have here the right atrium, the right ventricle, the left ventricle, and the left atrium, making us our part having 4 chambers. So this chamber is the right atrium, and this is connected to our inferior and superior vena cava. So our inferior and superior vena cava carry deoxygenated blood. So meaning, napunta na yung mga blood na yan sa mga cells natin. Okay? Tapos, they need oxygen now. So the blood from our body, after providing oxygen, will go to our right atrium. And later on, once that this right atrium is filled already by blood, so the blood will pump, the heart will pump, and then the blood from atrium will go to the right ventricle. And then that right ventricle will pump, okay? Pag nag-pump pag nag-contract itong right ventricle natin together with the left ventricle, yung blood dyan ay mapupush papunta sa pulmonary artery. Tapos yung pulmonary artery na yan, connected yan sa ating lungs. Kaya ang circulation natin, okay, may dalawang uri ng circulation. We have the pulmonary circulation and the systemic circulation. Ang pulmonary circulation, ito yung pupunta yung blood galing sa heart papunta sa lungs, kasi sa lungs nandun yung alveoli, na yun yung air sacs na kung saan through diffusion, after nating huminga ng oxygen, yung oxygen na yan madi-diffuse papunta doon sa blood. Particularly mag-attach yun sa hemoglobin natin with the help of iron present in our blood, making it the blood oxygenated again. So from the pulmonary veins and from the lungs, that blood from the lungs, which are now oxygenated, will go back to the heart through the pulmonary veins. And from the pulmonary veins, it will fill now the left atrium with blood that is now oxygenated. And then when it will, after it pumps, then maglalagay ulit ng blood dito sa ating left ventricle naman. Okay? Tapos yung left ventricle natin, pag nag-contract ang ating heart, ipupush na yan papunta sa aorta and sa heart also, kasi kailangan natin mag-provide ng oxygen sa heart and to the rest of our body, calling now systemic circulation. Okay? So systemic circulation, ito yung circulation kapag magpo-provide na tayo ng oxygen sa ating katawan gamit ang blood. At pag pulmonary circulation naman, ito yung kumuha ng oxygen, ang blood sa lungs. Okay? So, basically, yan lang po yung cycle ng blood natin sa ating katawan. At mahalaga po ang heart kasi kung wala nga po ang heart, walang patutunguhan ng ating blood. Mamamatay tayo. Okay? So, that is the heart. Okay? And I hope that's clear to all of you. So, just a review, no? Dalawa ang atria ng heart. We have the right and the left atrium. And for ventricle naman, we have the right and the left ventricle. So, basta kapag right, ang blood niyan, deoxygenated. Pag left, ang blood niyan, oxygenated na agad. Okay? And the biggest artery in our body is the aorta. Okay? And just to provide you additional information, guys, ang ating arteries, okay, ito yung makapal ang arteries natin. Bakit? Kasi mataas po ang pressure ng blood sa ating arteries compared sa veins. Ang veins ay thin or it is thinner, okay, compared to the arteries because the pressure in the veins is lower than the arteries. Okay? So there. I hope that's clear to all of you. Now, we have here what we call arteries. Pag sinabi natin arteries, these are the blood vessels that carry oxygen-rich blood away from the heart kasi papunta na siya ng katawan natin and to the body parts. So that's arteries. And then after the arteries, okay, we have here capillaries. So the capillaries are small blood vessels where materials are exchanged between the blood and the body's cell. So ibig sabihin, para ma-reach ng blood ang ating mga cell, kailangan natin ang capillary. And the capillary provides oxygen to our body, particularly to our cells, and our capillary also gets carbon dioxide from the cell as a result of the cellular respiration. Because carbon dioxide is toxic to our body, so that must be released. Okay. So ang carbon dioxide na yan, dala-dala yan ni blood ulit, pero deoxygenated na yung blood na yan. Tapos yung carbon dioxide na yan, pag pumunta yung deoxygenated blood sa ating lungs ulit, i-diffuse niya naman po yung carbon dioxide papunta sa alveolus natin para lalabas naman po yun papunta sa ating lungs hanggang sa i-breathe out or i-exhale na natin siya. So yun po yung carbon dioxide. Okay? And the smallest blood vessels are the capillaries. Okay? And we also have here the veins. Ano naman ang veins? It carries oxygen poor blood with carbon dioxide back to the heart to be pumped out to the lungs. Ayan. So, yung carbon dioxide, ipapump out yan ng lungs kasi dala-dala yan ni veins. Okay? So, there. Kasi nga, di ba, may pulmonary circulation tayo. Yung pulmonary circulation doon, yung carbon dioxide para makalabas sa ating katawan, kailangan dalhin yun ni veins, no? Which is, it carries the oxygenated blood. Ayan. So, yan po yan. Ngayon, ang blood vessel, ang galawan yan ganito. So, itong red represents the arteries. Tapos, since malaki ang artery, ngayon, punta tayo sa arterioles. Ang arterioles, mas maliit lang na klase ng arteries. Tapos, dito sa gitna na yan, itong super liit na yan, yung tinatawag nating capillaries. Tapos itong part naman na yan, yung maliliit na veins, ay tinatawag na venules, hanggang sa naging veins na siya. And this vein will go back to the heart via inferior and superior vena cava. And as you can see guys, the wall of artery is thicker because, or for the reason that it has higher pressure kasi sa artery, compared to the wall of vein, it's thinner. Okay? So, there. Okay? Ayan. So, that is the blood vessel. Alright? So, ayun po. Next. Just give me one moment guys ha. Ayan. So, there. Before we continue our discussion, let's have a 2-minute break po. Okay? So, mag 2 minutes break muna tayo. Time check, it's 7:58. Please be back at 8 o'clock po. Alright? So, thank you so much po. May emergency lang po. Okay, so now let's continue. So it's already 8. Sana nakaihi na kayong lahat. Di ba? Ang perfect yung lahat. Okay. So ngayon, continue tayo guys. Ano ho? Okay. Mhm. So I will just enlarge my PowerPoint. Okay. So gaya nga po ng sinabi ko sa inyo kanina, this is the blood vessel. Ano po? We have the artery, the arterioles, we have the capillaries, we have the venules, and we also have now the veins. Okay. And comparing the wall of vein and artery, the wall of arteries are thicker compared to the wall of the vein because the arteries have higher pressure. So kapag higher pressure, kailangan makapal kasi kung hindi pa makapal yan, puputok yung artery. Mahal tayo mamatay. Kaya God is so good talaga. Napakatalino niya lang. Okay. So there. Now, let's talk about blood. So blood is made of four components, or it has elements or parts. Number one is the plasma. So plasma is the liquid part of the blood. So most probably it's more of water and some elements. Okay. Another part of the blood is the red blood cell, also known as erythrocytes. Okay. So we have the erythrocytes. Ayan. So erythrocytes or red blood cells take up oxygen in the lungs and deliver it to the cells. Correct. So that's the function of red blood cells. Next, white blood cells. Pag sinabi natin white blood cells, they are our body's disease fighters, or they are our soldiers that provide protection. Okay? And our white blood cell is not just only functioning in our circulatory system, but they also have an important role in our immune system. Because if ever that we are exposed to, or our body has foreign bodies or foreign elements, so we have here our, innate immunity, which is the white blood cell too, or especially the macrophages, they will eat them up so that mamamatayan bawa yung bacteria sa ating katawan. And also platelets, so they are cell fragments used in forming blood clots that make scabs, no, or yung dried na blood dun sa may area ng sugat natin. So those are that's the function of the platelets. So the other term of platelets is what we call thrombocyte. I will repeat, thrombocyte. Ano naman ang white blood cell, Sir Val? Ito naman yung leukocytes. Ano naman ang red blood cell? It's the erythrocytes. Okay? So yan po yung apat na components or parts ng ating blood. Ayan. Okay, kaya minsan magandang mag-donate ng blood, particularly sa mga lalaki, para mapalitan naman yung mga blood natin, okay? Para mag-produce ang ating bones ng mga red blood cells, lalo na kapag tayo ay nag-donate ng blood, para mabago lang din, mapalitan. Kasi that's the only way for us to replace or to replenish, kumbaga, ang ating blood ng bago. Kaya ang mga babae, may way yan para magpalit ng dugo. Tama, yun yung menstruation nila, kasi dinudugo sila, di ba? Monthly, ayan. So, kailangan nating mag-share din ng blood kasi yung iba nangangailangan ng blood. Ayan. So, that's our blood. Next, what are the common problems of our circulatory system? We have here atherosclerosis. What is atherosclerosis? Arteries are clogged with fat causing myocardial infarction or the death of the muscle of the heart. Okay, or death of cardiac muscle. So there is death of cardiac muscle. It will not pump blood, leading us to death. And that's the what we call atherosclerosis. Pag atherosclerosis, ito yung cloggage doon sa arteries natin. At pag na-clog yung arteries, meaning there's no flow of oxygen to our heart, making now the cardiac muscle to die because there's no supply of blood, particularly oxygen, di ba? Next, arteriosclerosis. Ang arteries naman natin clogged with bits of minerals. So that's arteriosclerosis, okay? And also we have ischemic stroke. Ano naman ang ischemic stroke? Blockage in a blood vessel that delivers blood of oxygen to the brain. So pag may blockage ng blood vessel sa ating brain, then there's no supply of oxygen, mamamatay ang ating brain. Ayan, kaya minsan nagkakaroon tayo ng stroke, no? Yun yung tinatawag nating parang we can relate it to neurovascular accidents. Okay? Kasi syempre, hindi tama yung supply ng oxygen sa ating brain. Okay? Kaya kailangan kasi ng brain ng oxygen. Kaya minsan, pag walang oxygen yung brain natin, nawawalan tayo ng malay, ganun. So, kailangan normal lagi ang supply ng oxygen sa ating katawan. So, ano nga yung problema na yan? It's the ischemic stroke. Ayan. Ano pa? Okay. So now we are down to how many left na systems? Like 5 more, ganun. So now let's proceed to digestive system. And I hope klaro sa inyo no yung circulatory system, yung skeletal system, muscular system, integumentary system, and among others. Okay. So now let's go to digestive system. Bilisan natin kasi masasagot pa tayo ng mga tanong. Okay. So pag sinabi natin digestive system, one of the functions of digestive system is first, it breaks down food into molecules the body can use. Correct. Kaya nga tayo ngumunguya for us to break down the food into molecules. Pag molecules, maliliit yan na unit, no? Para madaling ma-digest ng ating stomach at ng small intestine ang ating mga kinakain. Pangalawa, molecules are absorbed into the blood and carried throughout the body by the circulatory and carried throughout the body by the circulatory system. So they are working hand in hand. Actually, our body systems are interrelated with each other. Okay? So, syempre, pag gumuya tayo ng food dito sa mouth natin, okay? Halimbawa, kumain ka ng rice, dito sa ating bunganga, meron ng digestion dyan na nagaganap. We have what we call mechanical and chemical digestion. So, pag mechanical, ito yung ninunguya natin. Halimbawa, yung rice. Ano naman yung yung chemical digestion? Pag chemical digestion, ito yung, di ba yung rice, it is a carbohydrate. And carbohydrate, sa kinain nating rice, may mga glucose doon or may mga sugar. So, dito pa lang sa ating bunganga, with the presence of our saliva, okay, or salivary amylase, no, natutunaw or nabi-breakdown na ngayon yung sugar dito pa lang sa ating mouth. Okay, then later on, pag swinalo na natin yan, then it will go to our esophagus, tapos stomach, then stomach, mag-churn yan. After mag-churn, then pupunta yan sa small intestine, tapos large intestine, rectum, anus, then anal sphincter. Okay? So, yan, mouth and mouth cavity. So, ito yon. Pharynx, ito yung lagusan, both of the food and also of the air from our trachea. And then we have the esophagus. So, right after the pharynx going down is the esophagus. Where ng esophagus natin, half niyan is
with voluntary muscle. Yung dito naman sa baba, it's involuntary. At yung involuntary process dito or movement ng ating esophagus, yung, you know, galaw niyan ay tinatawag nating peristalsis. Ayan. So we term that peristalsis. Okay? Tapos yung stomach. Ayan. We have also the liver. Kailangan ng liver para ma-digest ang mga fats. Okay? Through the bile. And then we also have pancreas. Pancreas, nagpo-produce yan ng insulin para ma-regulate ang sugar natin sa ating katawan. We also have the gallbladder. Ang gallbladder, ito yung imbakan ng bile na ginawa ni liver. We also have large intestine na kung saan diyan na po napupunta yung mga undigested food. Small intestine, ito naman yung responsible sa absorption ng nutrients from the food we eat. Dito talaga yung absorption of nutrients that occurs sa small intestine. Then, pag okay na, punta sa large intestine, tapos sa rectum at ilalabas na natin. Okay? Kaya yung number 3 na function niya, wastes are eliminated from the body through the feces. And of course, that's why our example, the anus, okay, is also part of the excretory system. Alright? So yan po ang ating digestive system. Okay, so what are the roles of organs? So ito lang ha, para mas klaro sa inyo. We have the mouth. So mechanical and chemical digestion starts here. Mechanical, physically breaking down food using our teeth, the buccal cavity, and the we also hear the chemical digestion. So breakdown of molecules of food through the saliva because the saliva has salivary amylase, and amylase is the enzyme responsible for the breakdown of sugar from the food. Next, esophagus, which is a muscular tube connecting the mouth to the stomach. And yeah, peristalsis, it's the muscle contraction of the esophagus. And as it contracts the esophagus, it moves down the food to our stomach. Okay? And the stomach, most mechanical digestion takes place because there is a, what we call churning, no? Churning action of our stomach. Some chemical with the help digestive juices, yes. So stomach natin has the ability to secrete enzymes to um, to have a speedy digestion. So enzymes and also acids, particularly hydrochloric acid. So we need that. Okay, so there, that's the stomach. And also we have small intestine. So most of the chemical digestion takes place here and absorption of nutrients from digested food into the bloodstream. Ayan, kung narinig nyo na yung word na villi or vilus, these are the finger-like structure present in the walls of the small intestine, and it is where the absorption of the nutrients takes place. Okay? So kinukuha ni villi yung uh, yung mga nutrients doon, then right after the villi, meron na tayong blood vessels doon para mag-mix yung nutrients na yun doon sa ating bloodstream. So that's villi, okay? Small intestine. And sa large intestine, so water is absorbed into the bloodstream. Okay? So kapag nag-absorb ng water ang large intestine, pinapatigas niya ngayon yung ating dumi. Kaya matigas yung dumi. Okay? The remaining materials is uh, ready for elimination from the body. So they are now for elimination after niyang ma-stuck dyan sa large intestine. And then sa rectum, ito naman yung waste material is compressed into solid form hanggang sa pupunta na siya sa anus, dadaanan niyo yung anal sphincter, tapos pupunta na yung dumi natin sa bowel, di ba? Ayan, so ganun lang naman po ang ating digestive system. And here are the terms to remember if we talk about digestive system na madalas lumalabas sa board examination. So meron tayong tinatawag na Helicobacter pylori. So it is a type of bacterium that causes now ulcer. Ayan. So the bacterium that causes ulcer is the Helicobacter pylori. Mastication is actually the scientific term for chewing. So when you masticate, meaning you chew. Okay? And regurgitation, it is a situation wherein a mother bird partially digests the food and places an amount of that food into the young's beak. So meaning, kumbaga, it is a scaffolding, no? It's a scaffolding relationship. Kasi ito yung parang nagiging assistance na ipinoprovide ng mother bird sa kanyang young bird, particularly sa papunta sa beak, no? Okay? Or sa tuka ng bird, no? Ng baby bird. Ayan. So, ulitin ko, Helicobacter pylori causes ulcer. Mastication is the scientific term for chewing. Regurgitation, a mother bird partially digests the food and places an amount of that food into the young's beak. Ayan. So, yan po yung mga yan. And what are the common problems related to digestive system? So we have here number 1, constipation. So when we say constipation, hard stools. Pag constipation, hard stools ang na-experience mo, yung ang hihirapan kang mag-CR, meaning you're constipated. Okay, maaaring kulang ka sa tubig. Okay? Pangalawa, diarrhea. So diarrhea, if you experience loose stools, then that's diarrhea. At maraming way para magkaroon ng or ma-experience ng diarrhea. Number 1 na dyan is kapag naka-intake ka ng contaminated water with amoeba or with Entamoeba histolytica, then you will have dysentery or bloody diarrhea. Okay? Pwede rin naman pong yung diarrhea na yan ay dahil sa meron kang cholera caused by Vibrio cholerae, di ba? And heartburn, it happens when stomach acids go into the throat. I will repeat, heartburn happens when the stomach acids go into the throat. Masakit ito. I experienced this. And I think pati kayo, baka na-experience nyo yung heartburn, yung acid, yung dumidighay kayo. Tapos, oh my gosh, ang sakit kasi nga it's an acid. Masakit kasi it's a hydrochloric acid. It's the same acid that you use in cleaning your restroom, sa muriatic acid. It's also hydrochloric acid. And that's how strong the acidity of our stomach. No, it has pH level 1 to 2. Diba? But good thing, our stomach cannot be hurt by itself through excreting or secreting those enzymes or acids, no? Kasi ang ating stomach naman ay may mucus yon, no, that fights against that hydrochloric acid released by the stomach cells. Ayan, so there. And also apart from these common problems, meron din tayong tinatawag na colon cancer or colorectal cancer. So yan, no, halos actually madalas lahat ng ating systems merong relationship sa word na cancer. Kasi maaaring magkaroon tayo ng cancer sa skin, cancer sa liver, pwede tayong magkaroon ng cancer sa buto, 'di ba? So yung cancer talagang madalas din 'yan ang problema, okay? At laging meron 'yan madalas. Kaya maaaring genetic or environmental ang reason bakit na-acquire mo yung sakit na cancer na 'yan, okay? But then, these are the common problems of digestive system. Now let's go to excretory system. From the word excretory, excretion, naglalabas ng dumi. Yun ang gustong sabihin niyan. So what are the functions of excretory system? Ang sabihin dito, excretory system collects wastes produced by cell and removes the waste from the body. So maraming way para makolekta ang mga waste na 'yan at ma-remove at mailabas sa ating katawan. So as you can see in our diagram, so we have here the participation of our kidney in releasing the toxins or the waste products of our body. Okay, so we have the kidney, which is a bean-shaped organ. It's a pair. So dalawa yan. Pag bored kayo, you may sell the other one and buy iPhone 14 Pro Max. Charot. Okay, we also have ureters. So dalawa yan. So it is the tube connecting kidney to the urinary bladder. And our urinary bladder is a muscle that can be expanded. At pag super expanded na ito, there are nerves there saying to the brain that, oh, I could feel to pee now, so I need to pee, something like that. And after that, pag nag-release na tayo ng ihi or urine from the urinary bladder, it passed through the urethra. And the urethra, short ang urethra ng mga babae at ang lalaki naman ay medyo mahaba dahil may penis sila. Kaya madalas na may sakit na UTI or urinary tract infection caused by E. coli ay yung mga babae. Kasi nga short ang urethra nila. Pero pag yung mga lalaki medyo mahaba, o di perfect. Depende kung sobrang haba yun. Charot. Okay, yan. Yung basta urethra yun. Okay? So, yeah. Isa yan sa mga part ng ating excretory system. Okay? So, unahin muna nga natin yung kidney. Pag-aralan natin ito ng mas masusi or in great detail. So, susi. So, kidneys, they eliminate urea, which is now a toxic sa ating katawan kasi itong urea bago maging urea naging ammonia yan eh. So yung ammonia present yan sa ating katawan at nade-detoxify ang ammonia, turning it into urea by our kidney and also by the help of liver. So kidneys eliminate urea, excess water, yes, and some other waste materials. Kidneys filter wastes from the blood with the help of glomerulus, and kidneys produce urine. Okay? So as you can see here, this is our uh, uh, kidney. Nakat siya in a longitudinal section, okay? Tapos makikita natin na talagang ang kidney natin ay may mga blood vessels, may arteries and veins. Meron tayong renal medulla, okay? Meron tayong renal cortex at meron tayong capsule, ayan, covering now our liver. And our liver, its building block is what we call nephron. So that's the basic unit of kidney, nephron, okay? So responsible din sa pag-produce ng ating urine, okay? And another organs with participation in excretory system of anus. So anus removes solid waste from digestive system. Lungs remove carbon dioxide produced during cellular respiration. So excretory organ din po ang lungs because again, it removes carbon dioxide which are toxic into our body. And also the skin is part of or is one of the organs present in excretory system because our skin removes waste products through perspiration or sweat. Okay, and they are the dissolved waste materials. Okay, so we have the kidney, the anus, the lungs, the skin. So lahat yan kasama sa excretory system. Okay, so now let's talk about urinary system, guys. So same lang din naman. Okay, urinary, focus lang kasi ito sa kidneys natin. So ulitin ko lang ha, dalawa ang kidney natin. Ang basic, ang building block ni kidney ay si nephron. Tapos may dalawang ureters, isang urinary bladder at isang urethra. And anatomy of our kidney, we have here the renal artery, the red. We have the renal vein, that's the vein. We have also here the capsule. We have the renal cortex, the calyx, the ureter, the renal pyramids, okay, or the renal medulla. Okay, so yan po ang mga part ng ating kidney. Okay, so pangalagaan sana natin ang ating kidney by drinking plenty of water. Okay, by drinking glasses of water. So we need to do that every now and then. No, regardless of how busy we are, please take time to drink water. That's important. If you love your kidney, drink water. I mean, if you love your kidneys, then drink water. Okay? So urinary system has parts or stages or processes involved. Kasi ang urinary system, it is responsible for the formation of urine. So the first stage or process involved is the glomerular filtration. And glomerular filtration, glomerular filtration filters solutes from blood. Why? Because looking at this structure, guys, this one is a nephron. Again, a basic unit of kidney. Wherein in nephron, di ba may papasok na ugat or blood vessels from our, from our circulatory system. So ang arteries, yan ay kasama dito sa tinatawag nating glomerulus. Ang glomerulus, yan yung parang yarn, okay, na may dala-dala yang deoxygenated blood or unfiltered blood rather. Kasi oxygenated din arteries yan. So unfiltered yung blood, meaning kailangan linisan yung blood na dyan. Tapos pag nalinisan niya sa glomerular or sa glomerulus, pupunta na yung filtered blood dito sa ating tinatawag nating blood vessel. Okay? So after that, pag nakakuha na ng mga filters from the blood ang ating glomerulus, so yung filtrate na yan, no, tinatawag nating filtrate, pupunta yan sa proximal convoluted tubule. Tapos from proximal convoluted tubule, pupunta yan sa loop of Henle to, to absorb, ato na, punta na sa reabsorption. Reabsorption na kasi yun. Okay, so after here, sa part na yan, that's the glomerular filtration, punta na tayo sa reabsorption, wherein what happens here is the reabsorption of sodium and chlorine. Guys, ang kidney natin maalat because it has sodium and chlorine, or sodium chloride. And there's also a reabsorption of water. Depende sa kung gaano karaming water ang i-release ng ating urine. Minsan, pag less yung water na ilalabas sa urine dahil sa kulang yung tubig na ininom mo, ang ihi mo concentrated yan. No? Pero kapag inom ka ng inom ng tubig, okay, tas diuretic kasi din ang water, magpapaihi talaga yan sa'yo, then yung ihi mo ay fresh, ayan, hindi siya gano'n ka-concentrated, medyo malabnaw, di ba? But then, ang absorption nag-i-start yan dito ay convoluted tubule, papunta kay loop of Henle. Then after kay loop of Henle, pupunta yan dito sa distal convoluted tubule. Tapos after niyan, pupunta na yan sa collecting duct. Hanggang sa yung collecting duct na yan, parang dito na kasi, no, collecting duct, then pupunta na yan kay ureter. Para si ureter, ang magta-transport ng ihi or urine doon sa urinary bladder. So yun lang naman po ang ating stage ng urinary system. Okay? And ayun nga, last stage ng ating urinary system or the urine formation is the secretion, wherein urine na siya. Ano nga ulit yung tatlong stages? We have the glomerular filtration. So sa glomerulus, i-filter niya yung blood para matanggal yung solutes doon. Then, from there, it will pass through the tubules, namely the proximal convoluted tubule, loop of Henle, and distal convoluted tubule para mag-undergo ng reabsorption. Ano yung reabsorb? The sodium and the chlorine. And also water. To maintain what ions? Kasi ang sodium and chlorine ay mga ions ang mga yan, they carry charges. Sodium carries positive one because it loses electron, while chlorine is negative or negatively charged because it gains electron, of course. So, and also electrolytes. And lastly, secretion, urine na yan. Hanggang sa may ipon na yung urine doon sa gallbladder. Sa may urinary bladder, from urinary bladder, then it will pass through the urethra. So, yun na yung sa may vagina at saka sa may penis natin. Ayan. Okay? So, there. What are the common diseases in urinary system? We have here renal calculi. What is renal calculi? Kidney stone. Hindi talaga ito bato. Pero pag sinabi natin renal calculi, deposits of minerals causing pain. So, nagde-deposit kasi yung minerals sa ating kidney causing now pain. Kaya masakit. Kaya yung iba na operahan. Tama? Next, nephritis or Bright's disease. Okay? Na-discover kasi ito ni Bright. So, kaya tinawag ng Bright. So, nephritis is the inflammation of kidney. And diabetes insipidus. Iba ito sa diabetes mellitus. Ang diabetes insipidus, ito yung rare condition where you pee a lot and often feel thirsty. Diba? So, ihi ka ng ihi, tapos sobrang thirsty mo, uhaw na uhaw ka, yun pala meron ka ng diabetes insipidus. Kasi dapat ang water, nagagamit yun ng katawan, nag-utilize ng katawan. Sabi ko sa inyo, na-absorb o nare-absorb sana ng kidney natin ang water na kailangan ng ating katawan para hindi ma-dehydrate ang ating katawan. Okay? Pero pag may diabetes insipidus ka, ilalabas mo yun. Hindi na tuloy na i-regulate yung water balance natin sa ating katawan. Kaya minsan dehydrated kayo pag may diabetes insipidus kayo. Okay? So there. Kaya lang naman po sa ating urinary system. Now let's go to respiratory system. Pag sinabi natin respiratory system, respiration. So these are the functions of respiratory system. Number one, blood or it supplies blood with oxygen and disposes of carbon dioxide. Yes, definitely. It filters inspired air. Pag sinabi natin inspired air, inhaled air. Kasi ang other term lang ng inhalation ay inspiration. Okay? And also, through our respiratory system, we can produce sound, no? Vibration of the sound in our vocal cords. Tama? We also have here, it contains receptors for smell. Yes, definitely. And it gets rid of the body's excess water and heat kasi kailangan natin pagpawisan. Ayan. And it helps regulate blood pH. Ayan. Kasi pag hindi natin nilabas ang carbon dioxide sa ating katawan through our breathing, tumataas yung or bumababa yung pH level ng blood, making it acidic. Kasi remember, ang blood meron yang water sa plasma. Tapos pag yung carbon dioxide hindi yan nailabas, bababa ang pH level kasi pag yung carbon dioxide na-expose yan sa water, it can create acid, no? So which is not good sa ating katawan. Kasi ang blood natin, it's more of almost neutral na siya. Na 6 point something, ganun, or yeah. So almost neutral kasi ang ating blood. So dapat ma-maintain yun. Pag naging acidic yun, pangit na po. Magkakaroon na tayo ng acidosis na sinasabi. Okay? So yun, helps regulate blood pH. Yan. So yan po yung mga functions ng respiratory system natin. Okay? I hope that's clear to all of you. Breathing, it's the pulmonary ventilation. Correct? Kasi we need really to breathe, and that's one way of providing ventilation sa ating katawan. So when you inhale, you are taking in oxygen, and when you exhale, you are giving off carbon dioxide. Okay? So inhalation, also known as inspiration. Exhalation means expiration naman. Okay? So there. So dito sa ating illustration, meron tayong sinuses, yun yung mga spaces, ayan. Throat, okay, kailangan yan, or the pharynx. The next larynx, yan, dito siya. With the help of epiglottis, nakakahinga tayo, kailangan mag-open epiglottis para papasok si oxygen or yung air na hininga natin. Tapos dadaanin niya si trachea. Tapos nandito na nga si carina. Sino itong carina? Ito yung area kung saan maghihiwalay yung air na ating hininga papunta sa magkabilang lungs natin. So as you can see guys, we can see here bronchial tube. Ito na yon. And bronchioles. Tapos ang pinakamaliit na air sac natin, which is the building block of the lungs, is what we call alveolus or alveoli. Okay, so we have two lungs, the left and the right. Okay? So yan. Anyway, may nakikita kayong guhit dito, no? So ang guhit dito, ibig sabihin, it divides the lungs into 3 parts. Yan yung right. Pero kapag nandito ka sa left na lungs mo, it has only 2 parts lang. May isang kumbaga divider lang dito, giving us 2 parts lang ng lungs. Pero dito, ilan yan? 1, 2, 3. So, 3. Bakit? Kasi may 2 hati. Pero dito sa left, isang hati lang. Okay? So, again, alveolus, ito yung tiny air sacs ng ating katawan na kung saan doon po nadi-diffuse ang oxygen galing sa hininga natin papunta sa bloodstream. Ayan. So, that's respiratory system. Ayan, alveoli, tiny air sacs that allow rapid gaseous exchange. So, ang alveoli, maaaring mag-provide ng oxygen sa blood, maaaring din mag-collect ng carbon dioxide palabas ng ating katawan through our respiratory system. Ayan. What are the common problems in the respiratory system? We have asthma. So, asthma, you can hear wheezing, parang whistle, pag gumamit ka ng stethoscope. Breathlessness and coughing. So that's what you call asthma. I will repeat, wheezing, breathlessness, and coughing are its symptoms. or signs. We also have here bronchitis, so meaning there is an infection of the main airways of the lungs, bronchi or bronchus. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease or COPD, meaning it's a group of diseases that cause blockage and breathing related problems. So anything na disease that cause blockage and breathing related problems, so we term that chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. And an example of COPD or chronic obstructive pulmonary disease is the emphysema. So what is an emphysema? It causes shortness of breathing due to damage of air sacs, particularly our alveoli or alveolus. So they are damaged, that's why you have emphysema. Asthma, yes, there is breathlessness, but it doesn't have anything to do with the air sacs. Okay. Next, cystic fibrosis. Cystic fibrosis is caused by a defective gene. So meaning cystic fibrosis is a genetic disorder wherein one experiences excessive mucus production in the lungs. So if you have that, then definitely it will be difficult for us to breathe because there is now a full mucus in our lungs. Another common problems that we have now in this recent time is the COVID-19 and also lung cancer. Ayan. So yan po yung mga common problems natin sa ating respiratory system. So please, alagaan natin ang ating mga katawan, ang ating mga organs. Kasi pag may isang organ nag-fail, the entire system of the body is affected. Okay? So there. Next, let's go to the endocrine system. Oh, di ba? Ang dami-dami natin natututuan talaga ngayong gabi. So sana po nagsusulat kayo dyan, i-enjoy nyo pa din. No, alam ko medyo pagod-pagod tayong lahat dahil sa, syempre, tapos na ulit ang isang araw ng trabaho, ng pag-aaral, kahit tayo patuloy pa rin lumalaban. Ayan. So laban lang tayo. Now, let's go to endocrine system. Pag sinabi natin endocrine system, ayan, there's something to do with the secretion of hormones, di ba? And hormones are actually proteins, no? Ayan, maybe our body. So we have two types of dito sa endocrine system natin. We have the exocrine and endocrine. What is exocrine, Sir Val? Ito yung mga glands na may ducts or canal or daanan that secrete substances onto the body surface. Meaning, ang exocrine, may mga glands yan, pero yung substances na sinisecrete niya ay papunta sa body surface or palabas ng ating katawan. Example nito yung sweat glands natin kasi lumalabas sa ating katawan. Tapos may duct siya. Eh ang endocrine, kabaliktaran ito ni exocrine. Kung si exocrine ay may duct tapos nagre-release ng substances sa labas ng ating katawan, itong endocrine hindi. It doesn't have ducts. But, okay, and rather, it secretes substances directly into the bloodstream. So sa blood po ang kanyang release. And since sa blood ang kanyang release, sometimes it takes time for a certain hormone to reach its target point or target location. Kasi syempre magta-travel pa ang blood. So there, that's because of endocrine, no? They do not have ducts. Yet they secrete substances directly into our body or into our bloodstream. And in this illustration, we can see your different endocrine glands or organs. We have your hypothalamus. We have the pituitary gland, which is said to be the master gland of our body. We have the pineal gland. We have the thymus. We have the ovary in female, testicle in males, placenta naman during pregnancy, adrenal glands. Okay, so it is located on top of the renal or of the kidney, kaya nga siya adrenal. Pancreas, ayan, so dito siya. It produces insulin and glucagon. Thyroid and parathyroid glands, ayan, meron din yan. And among others. So yan po yung mga glands natin sa ating katawan. Pero endocrine yan ha, meaning nagre-release yan sa loob ng ating katawan. Ang exocrine, example yung sweat gland. So isa-isayin natin yung ano. Pag sa exocrine, nandiyan yung tinatawag nating sebaceous. Okay, actually ito part ito ng excretory ng integumentary system. So we have the sebaceous gland or the oil gland, and we have also the sweat gland or also known as the sudoriferous gland. Remember kahapon, di ba? So yan, sweat gland. So may mga ducts sa mga ito. Yan. Pag endocrine, ito yung mga yan. Okay? So there. Ito yung mga ilan sa mga glands na meron tayo at meron din dito yung hormones na tinatawag natin and yung functions nila. So unahin natin yung pituitary gland. So meron yung anterior at posterior pituitary. So ang pituitary gland, they provide growth hormone. Minsan, nagre-release din po ang pituitary gland ng oxytocin sa mga kababaihan para yung oxytocin na yan, it will increase the contraction of the uterus para yung buntis na mother ay manganak na. Okay, that's pituitary gland. So growth hormone or oxytocin. Okay, so ang growth hormone, it regulates our growth. Okay? Controls the functioning of endocrine gland. Kaya minsan bago mag-function yung ibang glands, kailangan i-activate muna ni pituitary gland. Anyway, since nasabi dito ang growth hormone natin ay tinatawag nating ano yun? Basta it's a growth hormone. I forget the term. And then, yung iba napapansin niyo, ala, sobrang tangkad niya, parang higante na siya. Yun ay dahil sa ano, may tumor sila sa kanilang pituitary gland. Yung tumor, or tumor na yan, there's an secretion of growth hormone, kaya yan, ang laki-laki nila. Yan, so yan, kaya tayo may mga giants. Okay, so that's because of pituitary gland. Next, thyroid gland, we have the thyroxine. Okay? And also, ayan, si thyroxine, it controls the metabolism rate. So, basta kapag metabolism ang tinanong sa board, thyroxine ang isagot natin. And it also brings about balanced growth. Yes. And also, sa thyroid gland natin, nandiyan din yung tinatawag nating calcitonin. Ang sinasabi ko sa inyo na ang calcitonin, ito yung hormone na kung saan uutusan niya yung osteoblast na mag-build ng bone para ma-deposit yung calcium na excess na present sa ating blood. Okay? Pero kapag wala na tayong calcium sa ating katawan, papasok na ngayon ang parathyroid that secretes parathormone. At ang parathormone naman, it controls calcium balance of the body, na kapag na-detect ng ating brain na sa ating bloodstream nga, oy, kulang na ng calcium, so ang gagawin, uutusan ngayon ni parathormone si osteoclasts na kumalas or magkalas or magbawas or mag-resorb ng bone parts para yung calcium doon sa bone na yun ay ma-release at maipunta sa bloodstream para mabalance lang yung calcium level sa ating katawan. Okay? Adrenal, we have the adrenaline. It prepares body for emergency. We also have pancreas, yan yung insulin. So si pancreas nagsisekrete ng insulin that controls glucose level of the blood. So ang insulin, pag mataas ang blood sugar natin, ayan, si insulin ang mag-work noon para bumaba yung sugar sa ating blood. Pero kapag masyadong mababa naman na yung blood glucose natin, hindi na si insulin ang mag-work doon, kundi si glucagon na. Glucagon, ayan. Okay? So glucagon is also released or created or secreted by pancreas doon sa islets of Langerhans. Okay? So yan. Para po, pag mababa na yung glucose natin sa ating katawan, magagamit na natin yung glycogen na nasa liver natin. Kung saan yung glycogen na yan, it is convertible to glucose. And the process called, when you break down glycogen to glucose, it is what we call glycogenesis. Glycolysis. Sorry. Glycogenolysis. Ayan. Glycogenolysis. Ayan. So sa glycogen, breakdown mo. So ito, ang process na to is from glycogen to glucose. Ayan. Ano naman sir, walang tawag kapag nasobra ng glucose tapos kailangan ma-store ang glucose na yan or sugar na yan for future use para maging glycogen. So kapag glucose to glycogen naman, ang tawag doon ay glycogenesis. Ayan. Ayan. So glycogenesis, ulitin ko lang ha, it is the production of glycogen by using the glucose. Ang glycogenolysis, you're using glycogen to produce glucose. Okay? So yan po yung mga processes involved sa ating katawan, particularly sa pancreas. Ayan, o the insulin. Next, testes. It produces testosterone, wherein it controls growth and development of male reproductive system. Kaya din po merong secondary sexual characteristics sa mga lalaki, rason kung bakit bumabangog ang buhok ang boses, tapos nagkakaroon ng production ng mga pubic hair at saka yung broader shoulder, and that's because of testosterone. Sa babae naman, ovaries. So meron tayo nito. Charot. So meron kayo nito mga babae. So estrogen, it controls growth and development of female reproductive system. So yan yung rason kung bakit lumalaki mga joga nyo, mga suso nyo. Pag progesterone naman, present lang progesterone kapag buntis ang babae. So ang progesterone, it prepares now the uterus for the implantation. It will make the endometrium thick para may kakapitan ang fertilized egg at mag-undergo ng implantation para mayroong kakapitan yung fertilized egg. Okay? So progesterone pregnant, pag pregnant yung babae. Okay? So estrogen, that's for the secondary sexual characteristics of female naman ang estrogen. Ayan. Yan yung rason kung bakit lumalapad ang balakang, ganun. Okay, so there. So these are the different hormones, the glands, and their functions under endocrine glands. Okay? So there po. Next, what are the common problems? Number 1, diabetes mellitus. So diabetes mellitus, ito yung, ano na to? Ito na yung nagma-malfunction ng pancreas dahil, wala ng insulin na nare-release. So kapag wala ng insulin, tumataas na yung glucose ng ating katawan. Alam naman natin ang glucose pag hindi yan nagamit ng ating katawan, magiging waste yan. So, yun, malfunction ngayon ang kidney natin kasi syempre it's a big molecule. Tapos, pag may diabetes ka rin kasi, syempre di ba wala kang insulin yan, di tataas ang blood sugar mo. Pangit yun, mamamatay ka. Okay? So anong kailangan gawin pag may diabetes? Kailangan mo ngayong ma-injection na ng insulin para pag may insulin ka, since nag-fail na nga yung pancreas mo sa pag-produce ng insulin, o di at least mame-metabolize ngayon yung glucose na kinakain mo. Kaya kapag may diabetes, very, very, very critical yan, no? Nakakatakot din. So please be careful na kapag type 1, type 2 diabetes yung mga yan, nakakatakot ng mga yan. Okay? Next, thyroid disorder. We have hypothyroidism. Hypothyroidism, low thyroid hormone level yan. Mababa yung thyroid hormone level mo. And also, pag hyperthyroidism, there is a high thyroid hormone level. So, yun lang naman po yun. Okay? So, yan po yung mga common problems natin sa ating endocrine system. Actually, marami pa, pero I just selected yung importante lang. Next, we have immune system. Meron pa tayong maraming system dyan. So, mag-taste muna tayo. Time check is 8:48. Ayan. So, bilisan natin ng konti. Immune system is very important because of the following function. First, immune system provides a barrier against pathogens. Or when we say pathogens, they are the disease-causing agents. And our immune system defends our body against, provides barrier and then it provides defense against pathogens. Okay? So may mga tinatawag tayong mga line of defenses. Meron tayong first line of defense, may second line of defense, at may third line of defense. So pag sinabi natin first line of defense, isipin niyo lang lagi dyan, barrier yan. Pag barrier yan, maramang nasa labas yan ng katawan. Okay? Next, second line of defense, nandiyan na yung inflammatory response. So kapag namamaga ang isang sugat, meaning it activates now your second line of defense kasi may inflammation na. And third line of defense, if there is a third line of defense, then there is now what we call immune system targeting specific pathogens. So in our third line of defense, we are now using our adaptive immunity. So we are using our T cells and B cells. No? Yung T cells, ito yung, it can detect cells that are already infected. Example of virus. No? Pag ang cell infected na ng virus, we have here the T cells to, to provide a specific immunity, specific cells to be attacked. Okay? Pero pag B cells, pag sinabi natin B cells, ito yung memory cell. Bakit? Kasi ang B cells, responsible yan in producing, what do you call this? Antibodies that are specific for a certain pathogen. Okay? I will repeat. B cells produce antibodies specific to the pathogen present in the body. So example, halimbawa, nag-contract ka ngayon ng, halimbawa, ng chicken pox. So nagkaroon ka ng chicken pox. Okay? So yung chicken pox is caused by a virus. Ngayon, yung ating katawan, since na-expose tayo, nakita niya ngayon yung antigen ng virus. So, gagawa na ngayon yung B cells ng kanyang mga antibodies to fight against that virus. Ngayon, ang maganda sa B cells or yung memory cells natin, they long last talaga. They stay long lasting sa ating katawan. Para if ever na maka-acquire ka ulit ng virus causing now chickenpox, meron na agad naka-reading antibody or alam na agad ni B cells kung anong klaseng antibody ang kanyang gagawin. Kasi may record na siya. Kaya siya tinatawag na memory cell din. Para if ever contract mo ulit yung pathogens na yan, handa na agad si B cells mo na magpo-produce ng antibodies to kill them. Para hindi ka na magkasakit nun. Okay? So yun yung rationale bakit may mga vaccination parang sa atin. No? Ibinaksin tayo, 'di ba? Diniscuss ko naman sa inyo yung vaccination, 'di ba? So pag na-inject tayo ng vaccine, magkakaroon tayo ng fever kasi ibig sabihin na nagkakaroon lang tayo ng immune response. Okay? So pag may immune response, we are preparing ourselves na, no, na if ever makontract natin yung main virus causing COVID-19, at least ang ating katawan ay ready na kasi nga na-expose ng ating katawan doon sa virus mismo. Dahil nga yan sa mga vaccinations or vaccines na produce against COVID-19. Okay? So yan po yung immune system natin. So the first line of defense or also known as the barriers, we have the skin. Okay? So chemicals in oil and sweat, pathogens fall off with dead skin cells. Okay, like the virus or the bacteria, they cannot proliferate or they cannot feed on our skin cells because they are basically dead cells. We have also the mucus and cilia. So mucus and cilia, it traps and remove pathogens that enter the respiratory system. Actually, our trachea kasi it has cilia that are used, wherein they are used to propel those, pathogens out of the respiratory tract. And we're grateful because we have cilia. Okay, and also mucus. Okay, we also have sneezing and coughing. So pag nagka-cough tayo, meaning we are trying to bring out or to put off all of the pathogens from our respiratory tract. Same with sneezing. Okay, next saliva. So destructive elements. So ang saliva kasi natin, and also, yung ibang mga fluids natin ay meron tayong tinatawag na lysozyme. Ayan. Lysozymes are for immunity. Ayan. Present to sa saliva, present din po siya halimbawa sa mata natin. Halimbawa yung mata natin lagyan ng bacteria, may lysozyme dyan. So yung lysozyme, it will attack now or the pathogens or the bacteria landed on the surface of our eyes. So yan, lysozymes ang tawag doon. Those are the destructive chemicals. Okay, destroying the pathogens or the foreign bodies. Ayan. What else? Ayan, second line of defense, an inflammatory response that uses phagocytes. Ayan. So we're using here white blood cells to engulf and destroy the pathogen. Ang ating second line of defense, they are not specific. They are our innate na immunity natin. Nandiyan yung tinatawag natin mga macrophages. We have also the basophils, eosinophils, okay? Na kung saan they are fighting those pathogen in its broadest and general sense, no? So that's phagocytes, second line of defense. And the third line of defense, ayan na nga. So the immune system targets specific pathogens. We have the B cells and the T cells, no? So B cells are type of lymphocytes, a white blood cell that produces chemical called antibodies to destroy each kind of pathogen. Ayan. So T cells identify pathogens and tell them apart using the pathogens antigens or marker molecules. Ayan. So ito po, no, ito yung B cell, magpuproduce ng antibodies. Anyway, our antibodies are proteins. Remember that? And we have here what we call antigen. So yung antigen, may mga structure or receptors yung mga yan na kung saan itong mga ito connect yan dyan sa mga antigen. Anyway, ang antigen, it's a clip word of antibody generator. Pag sinabi natin antigen, it means antibody generators. So it generates antibody. Yan. So meron yan sa virus, meron yan sa bacteria, or sa pathogen in general. Okay? So ayan po. Sa B cell yan ha. Iba rin yung T cells. Ayan. Next. Okay, so what do we do in preventing infectious diseases? So we have here active immunity and the passive immunity. So ulitin ko lang ulit ito kasi diniscuss ko na ito nung kailan lang about, about microbiology and parasitology. So active immunity, it occurs when a person's own immune system produces antibody. So ang ating katawan or ang immune system natin mismo ang nag-produce ng antibody kasi tayo po ay na-infect tayo ng pathogen. Kaya gumawa tayo mismo ng antibody. And also, vaccine. Okay, it's also a way to gain active immunity. So vaccine, it's either weakened or killed pathogen. Example, chickenpox vaccine. So malamang sa atin halos lahat tayo na experience ang vaccination ng against chickenpox nung bata tayo. Ayan. So kailangan din natin mag-take ng boosters, students. So kailangan natin mag-take ng flu shots, no, and other shots na kailangan natin to boost our immune system. So those are active. Okay? Ano naman yung passive? Antibodies are given to the person to fight the disease. Their own body did not make them. So example niyan is yung sa rabies, okay? Actually, hindi yan rabies, no? Ito yung sa mga babies natin. Pasensya na po. So babies na kung saan they are acquiring passive immunity through, ayan, breastfeeding. Ayan. Ayan, breastfeeding. Ayan. Yan. So ang breastfeeding, guys, it provides us passive immunity kasi ang breastfeeding, it contains antibodies already. Therefore, those antibodies are not generated or produced or created by our own body. Instead, we get those antibodies from the mother, especially to the lactating mothers, going to their child or babies. Okay? So that's passive immunity, active and passive immunity. And I hope that's a big help for you to understand in preventing infectious diseases. So we need to really boost our immune system, guys, especially now that we're experiencing different diseases. There's an accumulation of diseases, paiba-iba, in every generation may sakit. So careful tayo, guys. Okay? So there. And what are the common problems of our immune system? So we have the rheumatoid arthritis. So pag sinabi natin rheumatoid arthritis, so it's an autoimmune. Same with systemic lupus erythematosus, okay? And also type 1 diabetes mellitus. Ayan. So lahat yan ay common problems ng ating immune system. At lahat yan ay autoimmune. Pag ibig sabihin ng autoimmune, sinasaktan na din or kinakalaban na rin ng ating immunity ang ating own cell na healthy. Kasi ang immune system, dapat na-detect niya ang self at yung non-self. Okay? So ang ibig sabihin ng self, okay? Self, ibig sabihin, yung ating immunity, hindi niya kinakalaban ang sarili niya kasi detect pa niya na, oy, katawan ko to, part to ng katawan ko, so hindi ko to pwedeng atakihin. So that's what we call self. Ano naman ang non-self? Ito yung mga example nito yung mga pathogen na kung saan ito yung ability ng ating immune system or ng mga white blood cells or mga macrophages na ay hindi ito part ng katawan ko. This is a foreign body, probably a pathogen. So kailangan ko tong i-kill, kailangan ko tong atakihin. So inaatake ngayon ng mga ah, ng ating mga defense mechanism ng ating katawan, yung mga non-self. Okay? Pero ito kasi yung mga rheumatoid, systemic lupus, and type 1, kahit na yung self, inaatake na. So particularly dun sa area na sa area na kung saan nandoon yung disease, then yun, namamatay din tuloy yung mga good cells, ay mga cells mismo, pinapatay niya. So, yun yung problema pag may autoimmune ka na. Okay? Alright, so there. Yan po. Ano pa? Pwede natin ilagay natin yung AIDS, no? Kasi yung AIDS, yan, sakit din naman yan, no? Sa ating immunity, no? Inaatake din ng ating immunity yan. Particularly ang T cells, no? Remember guys, sa AIDS, caused by HI virus yan ha, at ang inaatake dyan na cell natin is yung T cell, na very important in targeting specific cells infected with virus, o di ba? So, yun. Yan po, yung mga common problems natin sa immune system. And now let's go to reproductive system. So, reproductive system, its functions are the following. So, it is used to produce egg and sperm. Very good. It is used also, or its function is to nurture the developing offspring, correct, na nasa womb ng pregnant mother. And it is to produce hormones. Also, yes, kasi sa reproductive, nandiyan ang testosterone, nandiyan ang ovaries, no? Nandiyan din yung placenta if ever buntis yung babae. So those organs release hormones. Okay? Ayan. So there. Now, let's talk about the male reproductive system. So as you can see, we have here the urinary bladder, this part. Okay? We have also the symphysis pubis. We have also here the vas deferens. Okay? And then, yung vas deferens kasi naka-attach yan dito sa may epididymis natin or epididymus. Okay? So, wait lang ha. Unahin muna natin yung urinary, sorry. Dito na lang muna tayo sa may testes. Ayan. So, yung balat na nahawakan nyo ngayon ng mga boys, ayan, yun yung scrotum. It gives protection and it regulates temperature sa ating testes. Okay? So, pansin nyo pag malamig, nag-shrink yan. At kapag mainit, naglo-loose. Kasi ang testes, sensitive yan in terms of temperature. Kasi pag nasobra mo yung temperature, mataas yung temperature, alam naman natin na sa testes nabubuo ang sperm cell, temperature affects kasi the meiosis. Okay? So, pag naapektuhan yung meiosis, so nagkakaroon ng problema ngayon yung anak natin dahil hindi okay yung production ng sperm cell mo. Okay? So, sa testes, nagagawa ang ating mga sperm cell. Okay? So, after that, so since dyan sa testes nagagawa yung sperm cell, nakokolekta naman ng mga sperm cell dyan sa may epididymis. Okay? Or epididymus. Na kung saan yung epididymus na yan, meron tayong tube dito, papunta sa tinatawag nating pag nag-ejaculate kasi yan guys, lalabas yan dito, dadaan niya sa vas deferens. Pupunta ngayon yan at makikipag-mix yung sperm cell kay seminal vesicle, kasi sa seminal vesicle, ang laman niya ay semen. Tama? So, pupunta dito, mag-ejaculate ka during your sex, halimbawa, tapos magre-release na ngayon ng sperm cell. So, same po ang daluyan ng ihi at ng sperm cell at ng semen. Okay, nataon lang na ito kasi papuntang urinary bladder, ito naman ay papunta sa, ayan, vas deferens, sa may seminal fluid, okay? So, dito sa likod ng ating, is yung prostate gland natin. At sa baba po nitong ating prostate gland, nandiyan po yung bulbourethral gland. Bulbourethral gland. Take note of that. Okay, and also, we have the prepuce, ito yung, orifice ng mga nota nyo, ng penis nyo. Glans penis, ito yung parang bilog, ayan. And the penis, ayan yung penis, and it's a muscle na nag-erect ito dahil sa presence ng blood, okay? Next, urethra, ayan, daanan niya ng, part yan ng urinary system, yung urethra, connected sa urinary bladder mo. Ayan, vas deferens na mga, okay? So, yan po yun. Ngayon, what is the, ayan, para lang alam nyo ha, the sperm pathway. So, from testes, so sa testes, gagawa ng sperm, si sperm pupunta kay epididymis or epididymis, tapos dadaan yung storage kasi, si epididymis ng sperm cell. So, pag nagkaroon ng sex, so dadaan ngayon yung sperm cell from epididymis sa vas deferens, tapos from vas deferens, magmimix ang sperm doon kay semen na nandoon naman sa seminal vesicle. Tapos si seminal vesicle, dadaan niya sa ejaculatory duct, tapos from ejaculatory duct, we have the prostate gland, then after the prostate gland, we have the urethra, and after the urethra is the expulsion from the body, papunta sa vagina. Ayan, syempre, doon naman dapat papupunta yan. So, expulsion from the body. Ayan. So, yan po yung sperm pathway natin. Okay? So, I hope this is clear to all of you. Now, what are the common problems in the male reproductive system? So, first is the testicular torsion or twisting. Yung testes mo boys, kayo mga teachers na boys, nag-twist yan. So, ang tawag doon ay testicular torsion na kailangan pong maayos yan. Yung iba, kailangan mag-undergo ng surgery kasi namamatay na yung testes nila. So, nag-twist. Pag nag-twist, wala oxygen, di mamamatay. Tsaka masakit yan sobra. Okay, next, prostate cancer. Yeah, so we have prostate cancer as well. Ayan, impotence, no? Impotence, inability to sustain erection. Bakit? Dahil palainom ka, stress ka, ano pa, palayosi, gano'n, no? It causes now impotence. Impotent ka, ayan. And also inguinal hernia, 'pag sinabi nating inguinal hernia, yung part ng intestine natin bumaba at pumunta at lumusot do'n sa may testes na natin. So yun, that's what we call inguinal hernia or los-los sa Filipino, okay? So yan po yung mga common male reproductive system problems natin, ayan. So there. Now let's talk about the female reproductive system. So this is guys, itong nasa labas na nahahawakan niyo, yan yung tinatawag nating vulva. Okay, female genitals or female genitalia, that's vulva. Yan yung nahahawakan niyo, yung napupunasan niyo, nahahawakan niyo, ayan. So, siyempre meron tayong urethral opening. So, ito yung sa ihi. Iba kasi yung butas ng ihi, iba rin yung butas ng papunta sa vagina. Okay? So, mag-iingat kung anong butas yung inaano nyo. Charot. Okay, so, so we have the urethral para sa ihian. Ito naman ay para sa, alam nyo na, pag mga anak kayo, dyan dadaan. Meron din tayong tinatawag na right Bartholin gland. So, ito siya. End up. Ito yung anus. Ewan ko ba't ganyan yung anus. Ayan. So, meron tayong labia majora. Ito yung makapal na muscle dyan. Labia minora, ito yung medyo maliit sa may bandang loob, no? Vaginal opening. Ang vagina, ito yung birth canal, yung nasa loob, yun yung vagina. Hindi mo pwedeng tawagin itong vagina. Ang tawag mo diyan, vulva. Okay? Kaya minsan, check mo, ang ganda ng vulva ko o gano'n. Gano'n dapat ang sabihin sa mga sarili niyo, guys. Okay? So, and also clitoris, ito yung parang small penis ng mga babae na kung saan nandun, ito yung erogenous zone niya, di ba? Erogenous zone. Kasi mga lalaki may erogenous zone din yan, para ma-trigger ejaculation nila. Okay? So, yan po ang anatomy ng kipay. Ayan. Siyempre, sa loob niya, nandun yung ovary, dalawa yun. Nandun din sa loob yung uterus, yung cervix, and also yung fallopian tube. Ayan. So, alam niyo naman na po yan. Okay? So, what are the external structures? Ayan. May tinatawag na mons pubis. Ito yung soft mound of flesh above genitals. So, ito yung sa baba ng puso nyo, ibaba nyo pa ng bonggang-bongga, yung pingping doon ng mga kipay nyo, yun yung mons pubis. Ito yung tinutubaan ng pubic hair. Ayan. Hindi pa yan yung mga kipay nyo, hindi yan yung ano nyo, vagina or yung ano nyo, vagina, iba yun. Mons pubis, ito yung may pubic hair. Next, labia, ito yung lip-like or yung parang labi daw ng mga kipay nyo outside of the vagina. So that's labia. Clitoris, ito yung sex organ whose sole function is pleasure. Ito yung, dahilan kung bakit purputi na lang ang, mata mo. Ayan, clitoris. Oh my gosh. Okay, so clitoris. Yeah, next. Sa loob naman, internal with the vagina. Tract from uterus to exterior. Yes, and it's also known as the birth canal. Hymen is the mucous membrane around vaginal opening na minsan pag virgin ka, may hymen ka pa. Pero pag nasira ng hymen mo, meaning hindi ka na daw virgin. Ayan. Next, cervix, ito yung lower narrow portion of the uterus. Ibig sabihin, ang area kasi na nadadapuan lang ni cardiodalisai. Diba, ito yung uterus. Ayan. Ayan. So, medyo meron kasing narrow dyan na opening. Tapos ito naman is ito na yung area ng vagina nyo, guys. Ayan. So, dito yung vagina, ito yung cervix nyo, guys. Tapos ito naman yung uterus, okay? So, ang uterus is a pear-shaped organ containing growing fetus, correct? At fallopian tubes or oviduct. Okay, pares lang yun ha. Fallopian tube or oviduct, they are the pathway for egg traveling during ovulation. Okay, and then ovaries, egg-producing organs. Ayan. So kapag ang egg na-fertilize, magiging fetus or embryo, pero ang egg, pag wala pa rin nag-fertilize sa kanya at malapit na siyang, mawasak, ayan, dudugo na yan at magme-mens ka na. Okay? So menstruation ang tawag doon. Ayan. So what are the pelvic inflammatory disease? We have the progressive infection. We have also, ano pa yun? Yan, basta pag progressive infection, it gets worse over time. Affects fallopian tubes, uterus, cervix, or ovaries. Can lead to long-term reproductive problems. Ano yung symptoms nito pag may progressive infection ka? Foul, smelling discharge. So may lumalabas sa mga kipay nyo. Heavier than normal periods. And painful urination. Anyway guys, okay lang na walang ovary yung babae. Pwede lang na mag-iisa na lang. Okay, so yun. Actually, I have known someone who died because of, she had an ovarian cancer. Or she's an ovarian cancer. And then, tinanggal una yung isang ovary niya. Pero later on, yung tumor, tumubo ulit sa kabilang ovary niya, yun na yung nag-cause ng kanyang kinamatay niya. Pero better sana or nabuhay pa sana siya kung yung dalawang ovaries tinanggal mismo. Okay? So yan. What are the causes of progressive infection? Of course, we have the bacteria moving upward from a woman's vagina or cervix and opening to the uterus. So yan. So yan po ang ating sakit. Ano pa? Ayan. Meron tayong tinatawag na toxic shock syndrome. Ano yung toxic shock syndrome? So systemic illness ito. It affects the whole body caused by toxic bacterial. Okay? And then symptoms include we have high fever, rapid drop in blood pressure, sunburn like rash, weakness, headaches, and even kidney failure kapag meron kang toxic shock syndrome. Okay? So, yan. Ano pa ba? Ayan. Endometriosis. Ano yung endometriosis? So, in endometriosis, the tissue begins to grow on the outside of uterus. It causes now menstrual blood containing endometrial cells flows back to the fallopian tube and into the pelvic cavity instead of out of the body, di ba? So, yung dugo dapat sa labas sana, kaso hindi, pumasok sa loob, dumaan sa fallopian tube. Yay. Okay? So, these displayed endometrial cells stick to pelvic wall. Ayan. So, anong symptoms niyan? Severe pelvic pain, constipation, diarrhea, pain when having intercourse, and it can cause infertility. Ano yon? Endometriosis. And also, cancer. Ayan. Cancer of the ovary. Ayan. Meron din po yan. Okay? So, yan. This is the endometriosis. Nagkaroon ng mga endometriosis, no? Kung saan napunta sa labas, ibig sa uterus sana. Okay? Ayan. And of course, we have the lymphatic system. O, diba? Bilisan na lang natin, guys, kasi it's already 9:15. So, lymphatic system, so ang function nito, it returns tissue fluid to the bloodstream. It absorbs and transports fats and fat-soluble vitamins from the intestine. And it also kills the microorganisms. So, ang lymphatic system natin, meron po yung kinalaman kay immune system. And ang lymphatic system natin, it consists of lymph. Ano yung lymph? Ito yung fluid, guys. Lymph vessel, ito yung lymph arteries natin. Tapos lymph nodes, ayan, ito yung mga lymphoid organs natin, yung lymph node, spleen, thymus, and diffuse lymphoid tissue like tonsils. So lahat yan ay may kinalaman sa lymphatic system. Ano ba sa lymphatic system? Ang lymphatic system, ito yung nagkokolekta ng excess na fluid sa ating tissues. tapos kinukuha niya 'yon, okay, maaaring madumi yung mga fluid na 'yan, tapos papasok 'yan sa lymph vessels natin. So from the lymph vessels, dadaan 'yan sa mga spleen natin or sa mga nodes, at yung nodes natin guys, meron yang mga white blood cells, meron yang mga macrophages that cleanse the fluid, tapos yung fluid na 'yan guys, babalik din 'yan sa ating dugo. Okay? So there. Ngayon, ano ba ang pathway ng interstitial fluid or mga tissue fluid natin? Okay? So from lymphatic capillary, it will go through the lymphatic vessel, tapos pupunta siya ng lymphatic node para salain or i-filter yung fluid na yon. Tapos ipupunta ulit siya sa lymphatic vessel, lymphatic trunk, then collecting duct, and then later on sa subclavian vein. Tapos sa subclavian vein na yan, ipupunta na yan kay veins mismo ng circulatory system. Para yung fluid na yon, bago mag-mix sa blood, eh malinis na siya. Okay? So vein, ayan. Ayan. So yan lang naman po yung pathway ng lymphatic system. At ano po yung mga common problems ng lymphatic system natin? We have the lymphadenopathy. Ano ba yung lymphadenopathy? Swollen or enlarged lymph nodes. That's what we call lymphadenopathy. Next, lymphedema or edema or lymphedema. So build up of lymphatic fluid in the tissues. No? Kaya nakakaroon ng edema dahil yan, lymphedema. Next, lymphoma. Ano naman lymphoma? Lymphocytes multiply uncontrollably. So ang lymphoma is a type of cancer. Tonsillitis, ayan, inflammation of the tonsils. And also filariasis. Ano ang filariasis? It is a parasitic infection of lymphatic system. It includes now massive swelling of the arms, legs, and genitalia dahil nga may filaria ka. Ano yung filaria? It is a parasite causing now filariasis. So these are the common problems of our lymphatic system. Okay, and to finally conclude our concept discussion, let's talk about the top health and longevity innovations. So what are the innovations that provides health and it lengthens our life? So they are the following. Number one, mRNA vaccines. So we have here the Pfizer and BioNTech and Moderna COVID-19 vaccines, wherein they uses the mRNA to instruct cells to make a specific protein or protein fragment belonging to the virus. So with the mRNA vaccine, we're not going to inject anymore the real virus. Instead, we just use the mRNA of the virus to produce a specific protein or the S protein belonging to the virus. Then if we have that protein, then our antibodies are triggered to produce more and more to fight it or to fight against it. And then, yeah, we have now our immunity. So what is that? mRNA. Yeah, mRNA vaccines. Number two is the TAME. What is TAME? Targeting aging with metformin. So you're trying to target aging here. What are you going to use? Metformin. So what is TAME, by the way? So it is an anti-aging drug that gives additional life 1 to 12 years. Metformin is a drug which has been used to treat type 2 diabetes. Wow. And it works by inhibiting glucose production by the liver, resulting in a reduction of blood sugar levels. And it has an anti-cancer properties. So that's metformin or TAME, targeting aging with metformin. Ayan. Next, bilisan natin. Number 3, we have the microbiome technology or the pendulum. What is microbiome technology or pendulum? Pendulum helps to treat type 2 diabetes by using 5 bacterial strains. Kaya siya microbiome because we use our own bacteria in our microbiota, okay, that restore lost functionality of metabolizing fiber into butyrate, a molecular driver of type 2 diabetes. So ibig sabihin itong butyrate, tinatanggal yung functionality nito ng 5 bacterial strains na ito to fight against type 2 diabetes. Kasi type 2 diabetes, ito yung triggering factor niya. Ano yan? Butyrate. So si butyrate, okay, nawawala yung function niya or yung metabolism niya gamit ang ating bacteria. 5 bacterial strains. Ano ulit yan? Microbiome technology or pendulum. Next, number 4, ex vivo gene therapy. So it is used to treat sickle cell disease. Yeah, so we use gene therapy, meaning we are using gene to treat diseases. Okay, next, senolytic drug. So we have here designed to target senescent cells causing cardiovascular disease and cancer. So if we have this senolytic drug, we can prevent cardiovascular disease and also cancer as we age. And also, actually madalas kasi pag matanda na doon lumalabas yung mga sakit. No? So nakakaroon ka ng cancer sa ovary, colon cancer, ganyan, lalo na kapag matatanda na. Ayan. Next, blood plasma factors. Ano yung blood plasma factor? It is used to reduce biological age. So anti-aging blood treatment po ang blood plasma factor. So, diba? So if you have that, then it's parang nai-inhibit yung senescence mo, hindi ka agad tatanda, so malakas ang cell mo, malakas ang katawan mo, then you have higher immunity kung sakali ano. Okay? And that ends our discussion. Ayan. So, guys, kumusta naman po kayo? Nandiyan pa ba kayo sa akin? I mean, kasama ko pa ba kayo? Ayan. So, ayan. So nakakatuwa dahil natapos natin yung ating lecture somehow with with anatomy and physiology. It's just that, we cannot answer anymore the third item, rationalization. So I think I will let you know when, no, magpo-post na lang siguro kami ng announcement when we can have the third item rationalization, okay? So there. But anyways, no, ida-download na lang po yung 30 item na drills ninyo about anatomy and physiology. Tapos i-check natin kung paano yung magiging way for us to rationalize that, okay? So now, let me just read some of your questions. Okay? Ayan. So, ayun. Sir, yung bone marrow po ba ay lymphatic system or skeletal system? Skeletal system po yun. Nataon lang na yung bone marrow kasi, pag red bone marrow yun, gumagawa yun ng red blood cell or ng mga blood cells. Okay? Si lymphatic system, wala namang kinalaman yan sa red blood cell eh. Meron siguro sa macrophages na present sa mga nodes, but not really with the white blood cell. Okay? Ano po yung cause ng cervical cancer? Madalas ang cause ng cervical cancer is human papilloma virus or HPV. Hindi lang genital warts or warts sa kamay ang HPV, pwede rin po maging causative agent yan ng cervical cancer. So kailangan maging malinis ang makipay. Ay naku Sir Christian, ikaw talaga sana Sir dapat may guide Sir para alam saan ipapasok sa kipay. Nakakaloka ka Sir. Sir, may kinalaman po ba sa heartburn yung pag-yayon tapos ang hirap huminga na parang may iniipit na ugat? Paano yun? I'm not pretty sure. Basta ang alam ko po, basta kapag lumabas yung acid doon sa ano, mahirapan kang luminok, mahirapan ka din huminga, oo din. Ayan. So, minsan kapag may heartburn kasi ito dahil sa masyadong mataas yung ano hydrochloric acid natin sa ating katawan, tama ba? So, syempre papakita muna ako, di ba? Papakita nga rin ako. Diyos ko, puro na slide sa nakikita niya. Kung hindi na ako nakikita, di ba? So, sige, papakita ako para may kausap kayo dyan, nakikita yung itsura ko dyan sa mga cellphone ninyo. Huwag mo kayong aalis, ito naman, basta natatapos ang lecture, alis agad. Nakakaloka kayo. Wala kayong mga camaraderie. Magiging teacher pa man din kayo. Charot. So, ayan, medyo, yun, madilim na dito kasi nasa labas nga. Dito talaga ang perfect spot ko kasi mataas or magandang signal dito. Ayan. So ito, naka-uniform pa ako, 'di ba? So meaning hindi pa ako naka-shower. Mamaya inuna ko muna kayo, ayan, 'di ba? So syempre love na love ko mga alam mo 'yun? Nakakatawa kasi talagang it's extraordinary, 'di ba? Ayan, next. Ano pa ba? Sir, yung given na sa birth, passive po ba 'yun? What do you mean? Given na immunity? Kasi 'di ba meron tayong innate immunity? So pag innate, maring natural, tama? And I could say na yes, meron po tayong mga active na doon, okay? Pero kapag sa bagong panganak pa lang, tapos pinasuso mo, nakakuha siya ng antibody sa nanay, sa suso ng nanay, sa gatas ng nanay, passive 'yun. Passive, natural. Hindi siya artificial ha, it's a passive natural. Ayan. Ano pa? Shot po nun. Ito talaga kung ano mga pinagsasabi niyo. Sir, saan po nabubuo ang blood? Kapag gumagawa ng red blood cell, ayan, sa bone marrow po. So, sa skeletal system yon. Ang lymphatic system, guys, ito yung tumutukoy sa ano lang ito, sa mga, di ba ganito yan? Di ba ang blood, may blood plasma. So, yung blood plasma na yon, fluid yon, na kung saan, nadi-deliver yon kapag nag-provide na tayo ng blood doon sa cell at sa tissue. Tama? So, may excess fluid doon kasi hindi naman lahat bumabalik sa veins. So, may naiiwan na fluid doon sa tissue. Ngayon, ang sisip-sip noon is yung lymphatic vessels. Kung sa yung lymphatic vessels, yun ay pure lang yun na fluid, hindi yung dugo. But it can be part of the blood once it is mixed sa blood. So, papasok yun sa lymphatic vessels. Tapos dadaan yun sa mga lymphatic nodes. Kasi sa lymph nodes may mga macrophages doon. So, yung mga fluid na yan, maaaring may mga dumi yan. Maaaring may mga viruses yan or kung ano man. Tapos pag nadaon na napunta doon yun sa nodes, papatayin yun ng mga macrophages at mga dendritic cells na nandoon para yung fluid na yun malinisan. So, pag nalinisan na yung fluid na yun, pupunta yun doon sa, sabihin natin sa vein, okay? Or doon sa subclavian vein, tapos yung vein na yun, it will be a connecting vein papunta sa main vein ng circulatory system. Para kapag humalo yung fluid na yun, doon sa blood, malinis na siya. Ayan, so ganun po, yun po yung lymphatic system. Okay? So, there. Ano po? Lalapot ang dugo pag hindi ka rin masyadong umiinom ng tubig. Lumalapot din pang dugo kapag malamig ang iniinom mong tubig, o di ba? Okay, mag-alala po sa microbio na handout tsaka Anafi, ibibigay po 'yun sa inyo. Mag-antay lang po kayo, baka marami lang pong ginagawa ang ating mga kasamahan dito. Relax, 'no? Better nga kung mas nakikita niyo yung PowerPoint kasi yung PowerPoint yun din naman po yung ilalagay natin sa handout natin. Pero naintindihan ko kayo sa part na yun kasi kailangan niyo ulit mabasa. Pero mas maganda kapag nakikita din niyo yung video. Ayan, huwag pong mag-alala. Ayan. Ayun, thank you. Yung growth hormone, tama, it's the somatotrophin. Ayan. Tama yan, somatotrophin. Ayan. Kaya minsan yung mga malalaking tao talaga, yun, masyadong matangkad na dahil may tumor pala sa pituitary gland nila. Iba yung somatostatin, yung somatostatin naman yun na yung ni-release ng ating pancreas kapag balance na yung blood sugar natin. Kumbaga yung somatostatin, it stops either the insulin production or the glucagon production. Again, that's somatostatin. Ang somatotrophin, yun yung growth hormone. So sa respiratory system, yung lungs, ang pinaka-basic na unit niya doon or basic part niya is yung alveolus or alveoli. Ayan. Hindi po pwedeng humingi ng PowerPoint po kasi bawal po. Ayan. Ano pa ba? Nabibisit ako sir during pre-board due to heartburn. Besh, kasi nga acidic ka, masyadong mataas yung acid sa tiyan mo. Ang gawin mo doon, mag-chew ka ng for the meantime, mag-chew ka ng bubble gum. Bakit? Kasi kapag may bubble gum ka, magre-release ang salivary gland mo ng salivary amylase. Ngayon, yung salivary amylase na yun mga kapatid, they are somewhat basic. So, since pag may laway ka, basic yan, at pinunta mo sa tiyan mo na acidic, o man-neutralize yun. Kaya mahalaga din na may chewing gum kayo if ever na kayo magtitik ng board para hindi ka atakihin ng heartburn. Ano pa, kung meron kayong Tums, yun yung tablet na bicarbonate yun, or carbonate, yun, maganda yun to neutralize the acid in your stomach. Sir, good evening po. I-clarify ko lang po regarding the arteries and veins. It was described that arteries carry oxygen-rich blood and veins carry oxygen-poor blood. Is it not that they both carry either oxygenated or deoxygenated blood? Po, because with the case of pulmonary veins, which also receive oxygen-rich blood from the lungs, well, okay, I got your question. Sabi niya, Sir Val, sabi mo yung artery, ang dala niya oxygenated blood. Tapos yung veins, ang dala niya deoxygenated blood. Tama naman po yun. Nataon lang talaga na sa pulmonary blood, sa pulmonary circulation, pag sinabi mong pulmonary artery, that is the only artery that carries deoxygenated blood. Remember that. At ang pulmonary vein, that's the only vein in our body that carries oxygenated blood because that vein comes from the lungs. since that blood got oxygen from the air we breathe, di ba? So remember, the only vein that carries oxygenated blood is the pulmonary vein, and the only artery that carries deoxygenated blood is the pulmonary artery. But in general sense, teachers, automatic pag arteries, madalas nadala niyan ay oxygenated blood. Pag vein, deoxygenated blood. Exemption niya po is pulmonary circulation. Naintindihan po? Ayan. So arteries, away from the heart. Ayan. Ano pa? I'm just checking yung mga questions dito. So good evening, sir. You can answer this question po mamaya. Naisa na po ba ang ratio for anatomy and physiology? Nakailang refresh na po kasi ako sa MS Teams. Still wala pa rin pong nalabas. Huwag po mag-alala. Bibigyan ko kayo ng isang katutak na quiz. Hanggang sa araw na po rin mag-quiz kayo. Ganun. Ayan. Hindi po. Huwag po mag-alala. I-download po natin yan. Ayan. Okay. Wala naman ako nakikita mga tanong, teachers. Ano pa ba? Final coaching sa major nyo? Pag NPCR, meron po. Kasi po magpa-final coaching. Uulitin natin lahat to. Ayan. Bakit po pumupunta ang mata, sir, sa clitoris? Parang nakakatakot naman po. Ikaw naman, parang hindi naman niya alam naman. Grabe naman ito. Ikaw, anonymous ka, ah. Ano pa? Sir, anong pH level po ang need po ng human body fluids po to become normal? So, madalas kasi ang safest talaga is yung pH 7. Yes, pH 7 ang best. Pero may mga instances kasi na ang fluids natin katawan ay kinda basic, like the blood, di ba? Ayan. May idea po ba kayo kung ilang araw ang final coaching? Ewan ko po. Pero pag NPCR kayo, 4 na araw yun. Okay, sir, ano po ba yung fuel source ng cell pag wala nang kinakain? Yung fat in adipose tissue po ba or glycogen in liver? Oh, very good question. Well, halimbawa, pag dumating yung panahon na tagutom, tapos wala ka nang kakain na sugar or carbohydrate, ang una munang madadigest ng katawan para makakuha ng glucose ay tinatawag nating glycogen na naka-store either sa skin or sa liver. Ngayon, pag naubos na yon, ang isusunod niya naman is yung lipids or yung fats. Okay? So after ng fats, isusunod niya na yung protein. Yan yung mga muscle na. Kaya ka pumapayat kasi dinadigest din yun. Kasi protein yun eh. Muscles are protein. So after the lipid and the glycogen, ayun na. Protein na. Then after the protein, buntot ba wala ka nang idadagdag, mamamatay ka na, besh. Ayun yun. So unahin mo natin carbohydrates. Pag wala ng carbohydrates, ayan, glycogen. Kung wala ng glycogen, isunod ang lipids. Kung wala ng lipids, protein. Pag wala na, patay ka na. Ayun lang siya. May klase pa po tayo next week, huwag po mag-alala. Ito naman, nag-ano pa lang tayo. So what causes dengue? Is it virus or mosquito? The dengue is caused by a virus. Tapos ang mosquito, yun lang yung carrier niya or vector or tagadala ng virus na yan. Ayan. Ano pa? Saan kayo magpa-final coaching, sir? Hoping to meet you. Talaga ba? Ayan. Di wow. Soon po. Ayan. Sir, which is true po? Lysosome, intracellular digestion, or Golgi secretion of cell? Ano to? Gusto mo maintindihan, Ma'am Sharla. Salamat sa walang sawa na pag-mentor. Syempre naman po. Pagod din ako kaya yung iba sa'yo, wag mga ma-attitude na. Sige na nga, okay naman na po tayo. Sir, sino pang unang mamamatay, yung payat or mataba? Try mo kaya, Besh. It's for to find out. Ito na mga loko-loko kayo. Okay. Alright, so with that, ayan. So bago po kayo lumisan sa ating virtual classroom, guys, unang sa lahat, nagpapasalamat pa ako sa inyo dahil hindi pa ako iniwan. Yung iba siguro hindi naka-attend, hindi ko alam kung anong problema nila sa buhay o baka hindi lang talaga sila available. But then, again, thank you so much po. Sana marami po kayong natutuwan sa akin. O kung mag-alala, i-download po natin yung third item drills po ninyo. Ayan, so pakisagot na lang po yun. Next na meeting natin, we will be talking about physics. So yan na po yung last na pagkikita natin, charot, sa virtual meeting na ito. Kasi ayoko na kayo makita next season, utang na loob. Kasi gusto ko dapat pasado na kayo. Ayan, so with that, maraming salamat po. So ihabol natin, no? Kung sa tingin ko lang pang mga napag-aralan niyo, ihabol niyo po, okay? Huwag po mawawalan ng pag-asa, lagi pong tatandaan na may Diyos, ayan, na tayo-tao lamang, okay? Nagkakamali din, pero if we offer everything to God, no, nothing is impossible with God. Believe me, proven and tested. Ayan. So thank you so much again, ladies and gentlemen, for staying up with me, and I really appreciate your time as well and your effort listening to me. So with that, thank you so much, and again, this has been Sir Val, your lecturer and your mentor, and we see verses where the dream and the dreamer become one. Thank you, and God bless us all. Have a good night, everyone. Bye-bye. So I'll give you 3 minutes pa. Kung may mga tanong pa kayo dyan, pwede kayong, pwede kayong mag-question pa, pero kung wala na, you may go. You may rest. Ayan. Yes, papasa at mag-tap kayo, kailangan. Para hindi naman sayang yung aking effort naman, 'di ba? Para sa inyo 'to, 'no? Ayan. Wala naman po. Thank you po, appreciate ko din po kayo. 'Di ba, naririnig niyo ba yung ano, patulog na yung mga ano, mga insect na lumalabas, "Prut, prut, prut," sabi. Oh, 'di ba? Naku, sana nga magkita-kita din tayo one day, ano. Ano daw, which of the following structure function pairs is mismatched? A, nucleolus ribosome, B, lysosome intracellular digestion, C, ribosome protein synthesis, or D, Golgi secretion of cell products? Sa tingin niyo ba, ano bang mali diyan? Tama naman si ribosome, protein synthesis. Tama din si nucleolus because it produces rRNA, which is the main constituent of ribosome. So anong mali? Is it lysosome or Golgi? Ano ba ang Golgi? 'Di ba it packages? Okay, so pag nag-package siya, nagse-secrete din ba siya ng cell products? Hmm, ayan. So let's check on that during your final exam or final coaching. Ayan, let's answer that sa final coaching, you guys. Pero if you're gonna ask me, the correct answer there is letter D, delta. Yan, it's Golgi. Ayan, secretion. Letter D. O sige na po, anak ko ang dami-dami niyo pang attendees, uwi na. Matulog na kayo. Ayan, check lang ako ng mga ano dito. The energy source which is abundant in the Philippines but is still not fully developed. Gas, sun, sea, mineral. I believe, maliwanag ito. I believe, charot, hindi ko alam. Secret, kasi kung sasabihin ko dito, in-spoil ko na yung ano, sagot na i-discuss natin sa final coaching. Saka na ho. Ayan. Okay na po. Alright. So once again, thank you so much guys. Have a good night. Good night po. Bye-bye.